Have you ever stopped to think about why everyone around you seems to agree with you? It's not karma. It's not luck. It's not because you've finally found your tribe of enlightened people who see the world clearly. It's because the system was built precisely to create that feeling. And while you feel validated, comfortable, and intellectually secure inside your bubble, out there, the world is having conversations you don't even know exist. Decisions are being made. Narratives are being constructed. And you're on the outside without even realizing you've been excluded. Not by force, by convenience. Your own convenience. You didn't choose what you believe. None of us did. Do you think you arrived at your opinions on your own, as if you sat in a comfortable chair, drank an $18 gourmet coffee, read all sides of every issue, and arrived at a rational and mature conclusion? No. You grew up, absorbed what was around you, were shaped by every feed, every news item, every comment from your aunt on Facebook, who still shares prayer chains and conspiracy theories in the same post, with the same enthusiasm. And you became that way. Everyone did. But the real problem starts when you pick up your cell phone. You open your phone. It's maybe 7 in the morning. You're still in bed, eyes half closed, hair looking like you were hit by a tornado while sleeping, and you start scrolling through your feed. And something interesting happens. Everything makes sense. Everything. The news makes sense. The memes make sense. The comments make sense. That guy you follow on Twitter says exactly what you already thought, only in a more eloquent way, with a better font, and you think, wow, what an intelligent person. What a profound perspective. What a relief to know that there are people out there thinking correctly. And you don't even stop to think that this isn't a coincidence. This has a name. It's called an ideological bubble. And it's not a metaphor. It's a system. It's a machine. It's literally a set of billion-dollar algorithms built by very well-paid engineers in Silicon Valley, whose sole purpose is to keep you glued to the screen for as long as possible. Because screen time is money. And the most efficient way to keep you glued to the screen isn't to show you the world as it is. It's to show you the world as you already believe it, because that's comfortable. And comfort is addictive. The mechanism is simple once you understand it. You like something. You watch a video to the end. You comment, share, send it to the family group, argue with your brother-in-law, who has terrible opinions on politics and economics. And the algorithm records all of that. Every second you spent watching, every pause, every replay, every fire emoji you added, and it learns quickly, with an efficiency that would be admirable if it weren't so frightening, and then it delivers more of the same, more of what you already agree with, more of what you already validate, more of what already makes you feel like you're right, and everyone who disagrees is wrong, misinformed, stupid, or acting in bad faith. And it works specifically for you, because your brain was built for it. It's not weakness, it's biology. Your brain releases a satisfactory amount of dopamine when it finds information that confirms what you already believe. It literally feels good to be right. It feels more good than learning something new that contradicts your view. That's why you click on the article that confirms your opinion and ignore the one that questions it. That's why you read the headlines that validate and skip the ones that bother you. Your brain is rewarding you for staying inside the bubble. Think about that for a moment. It's not comfortable, but think about it. Now for the sign, because you're probably already inside a bubble and don't even know it. First, you rarely find perspectives that genuinely and well-foundedly contradict your own. When someone disagrees, it seems ridiculous, poorly argued, almost caricatured. And that's suspicious, because no side of any complex issue is completely ridiculous all the time. If it seems that way, it's because you're only seeing the weakest versions of the other side, carefully selected by the algorithm to make you feel superior. Second sign, you get irritated when someone disagrees. Not curious, not intrigued, not intellectually stimulated. Irritated, angry, as if the disagreement were a personal threat. Third sign, you already know what you're going to think about a news story before you even read it, just from the source, just from the headline. You formed your opinion before processing the information. You say that's not you. You say it with conviction. I bet you can't. And the real impact isn't that you disagree with people. Disagreement is healthy. It's fundamental. The problem is that you've stopped exploring ideas. You're no longer navigating the universe of possibilities of human thought. You're circulating in the same ideological block, passing by the same houses, greeting the same neighbors, thinking you know the whole city. You're reinforcing, not learning, confirming, not questioning. And each cycle makes the bubble a little more rigid, a little more impermeable, a little more comfortable, and a little more dangerous. The unseen consequence is the worst part. Over time, your world shrinks, not physically. You still go to the supermarket. You still go to work. You still interact with people. But your mental map of what is possible, what is real, what counts as valid evidence, gets smaller. Your certainty increases in inverse proportion to your understanding. You know less about more things, but you are more convinced than ever. And that is exactly the profile of someone who will not change their mind in the face of any evidence, because the evidence has also been filtered by the bubble. Reliable sources are those that confirm. Unreliable sources are those that contradict. The system is complete. The bubble is closed. And here's something most people never stop to consider. The bubble doesn't just isolate you from different ideas. It isolates you from better versions of yourself. Because real intellectual growth requires friction. It requires the discomfort of hearing something you don't like and having to process it seriously without discarding it, without labeling it, without putting it in a convenient box of unreliable source and moving on. When you eliminate this friction, you also eliminate the possibility of evolution. You stop growing without realizing it. And the worst part is that in this state, you feel smarter than ever, more informed, more aware, while in practice you are increasingly limited, increasingly predictable, increasingly easy to manipulate by any system that understands your triggers. And they do understand, better than you do yourself. And here's the part that should keep you up at night. The more certain you feel, the less you actually see. Excessive certainty is not a sign of wisdom. It's a sign that you've stopped asking the right questions. The most intelligent people who have ever lived on this planet were characterized not by absolute certainty, but by the ability to say, I could be wrong, show me. Socrates built an entire philosophy on not knowing anything, and he was killed for it, so perhaps the example isn't perfect, but the point is valid. If you've made it this far, you're already doing something different. You're paying attention to content that questions how you consume content. That's no small feat. And if you want to understand how this system really works, how the algorithm was built, who benefits from its bubble, and what you can practically do to expand your perspective without becoming that unbearable person who loudly researches both sides at every family dinner, stick around. There's much more where this came from, because ultimately, you think you're seeing the truth, but most of the time, you're just seeing more of yourself, reflected back to you by a very well-programmed mirror, built by a company that knows exactly what you want to hear and will give it to you indefinitely as long as you keep watching. The question is, will you keep letting them?